After my wife left and took everything, I found myself sitting on the floor of an empty apartment, staring at the outline of where our furniture used to be. My name is Daniel, and before that day, I thought I had life figured out. We had been married for 7 years. 7 years of shared dreams, long talks, and promises that felt unbreakable. Then, one morning, I came home early from work and found our closet empty, her ring on the kitchen counter, and a note that read only, "You'll be fine, Daniel. I can't do this anymore." She took the savings, the car, and even the coffee maker. What she left behind was silence, and me, wondering how to start again. At first, I tried to hold on. I went to work, pretended everything was fine, smiled when people asked about her. But grief isn't just sadness, it's a weight that crushes you from the inside. My performance slipped, and within 3 months, I lost my job. Bills piled up, rent was overdue, and I had to sell most of what little remained just to eat. Eventually, I found work at a small diner on the edge of town. I traded my suit and tie for an apron and a forced smile. The pay was minimal, the hours long, and the tips barely enough to keep me afloat. But at least it was something. I remember those first few months vividly. Every night, I'd wipe down tables long after closing, staring at my reflection in the glass and wondering what had gone wrong. Then, one rainy evening, everything changed. The bell above the door chimed, and in walked an elderly woman, dressed neatly in a gray coat, her silver hair tied in a bun. She carried an old leather book and moved with a kind of quiet confidence that made people turn their heads. She sat in the corner booth and smiled as I approached. "Tea with honey, please," she said softly. "And if you have apple pie, a small slice would be lovely." That became her order every Thursday evening. She always sat in the same spot, reading that book and sipping her tea slowly. After a few weeks, she began to talk to me. Her name was Mrs. Thompson. She told me she'd been a teacher for over 40 years, that she'd lost her husband a decade ago but never lost her curiosity about people. "You have kind eyes," she said one evening, looking up from her tea. "But they're tired." "Why?" I hesitated, then admitted, "Because I lost everything." She smiled gently. "No, you didn't. You're still here, aren't you?" Over the next few months, she became a part of my life, a quiet anchor in the middle of chaos. I told her about my failed marriage, about losing my job, and about how small my world had become. She never judged, never gave empty advice. She just listened. One evening, she asked me, "What did you love doing before all this?" I told her I used to dream about starting my own accounting firm but laughed it off. "Those dreams don't pay rent," I said. She looked at me for a long moment and replied, "Maybe not. But neither does giving up." Then, one week, she didn't come. Nor the week after. I assumed she was traveling or unwell, but something in my gut told me it was more than that. A few days later, a man in a suit walked into the diner asking for me. "You're Daniel, right?" he asked. When I nodded, he handed me an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter and a check. The letter read, "Dear Daniel, if you're reading this, I've gone where my husband's been waiting for me. Our talks meant more to me than you'll ever know. You reminded me of the importance of hope. I'm leaving you something, not as charity, but as a chance to rebuild. Use it well. With love, Marion Thompson." My hands shook as I unfolded the check. It was made out to me, for $150,000. I couldn't breathe. The man explained that Mrs. Thompson had no children and had left instructions in her will to find me. I sat there in silence long after he left, staring at her letter, tears blurring the ink. She hadn't just seen me as a waiter, she'd seen me as someone worth saving. That money didn't just save me, it changed everything. Within a year, I opened my own accounting business, small at first, but built on honesty and hard work. I named it Thompson Financial Services, in her honor. The first time I hung the sign on the door, I whispered, "Thank you, Marion." Years later, when clients ask how I started, I tell them the truth. I tell them about an elderly woman who ordered tea with honey and believed in a stranger enough to give him his second chance. I still keep her letter framed in my office, a reminder that sometimes, help doesn't come from where you expect. It comes from the quiet kindness of someone who sees the light in you when you've forgotten it yourself.